So, the Vancouver Canucks are playing off against the Anaheim Ducks later today, and this video is going to be about the latter. We're not talking about a Vancouver-related topic. Instead, we are going over to Disneyland and talking about a player that has been an absolute star on this team. Let's head over to Mr. Michigan himself, Zegras, lacrosse, flip, through the legs, spinorama, whatever, and talk about Trevor Zegras. Because when it comes to the future of Trevor Zegras in Anaheim, there was an article on the Toronto Star by Nick Kypreos that brings up a pretty intriguing idea as to where things could go in the long term. Take a look at this. The Maple Leafs need Morgan Rielly to be the number one defenseman they paid him to be. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, this article is about Rielly and the Leafs. Why are you bringing this article up in a Trevor Zegras conversation? Well, this is kind of what Kypreos does. He makes articles on the Toronto Star that talk about primary Leaf stuff, and then he adds a whole bunch of extra stuff at the end. This entire article goes out there and talks about Morgan Rielly, but then if you go over to the very end, he's got the Kipper's Corner part, which goes over different things in the NHL. There also is a part towards the end here called Change My Mind, and this is where the meat comes off the bone. On Trevor Zegras having a long-term future in Anaheim, Hall of Famer Adam Oates is Zegras' skills coach, and after listening to him describe his client on our Real Kipper and Bourne show, I have my doubts on the 21-year-old's longevity with the Ducks. There's a difference between Instagram skill and regular skill, and I'm trying to get the Instagram out of there, Oates said. And I wanted to let that sink in a little bit firstly, because essentially what Kypreos is saying is that Adam Oates described his sort of training and mentoring for Zegras as to trying to get the quote-unquote Instagram skill out of his game. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, I'm pretty sure if you're on the IG, you've seen the Pavel Barbers out there, you've seen the crazy highlights of people doing fancy tricks and flipping the puck up in the air, chucking it up, throwing the stick around like a marching band, the person with the thing that goes in between your fingers. I don't even know what it's called. Yeah, I'm kind of dumb. But there's a good amount of skill on Instagram that isn't really projectable to play in hockey. It's just kind of there to show off that you could do some cool stuff. And I'm not going to go out there and say that Trevor Zegras is all Instagram, but it is described here by Adam Oates, who, by the way, was one of the best passers in the NHL's history books, that may be the case, that they're trying to get that out of him. Because of this, Kypreos is going out there and doubting whether or not Zegras has a long-term future with the Anaheim Ducks. Now, for an extended look on this, let's go over on to Spectre's Hockey from March 16th, because what Lyle Richardson did was he talked about the same things brought up by Kypreos, and he kind of gives his opinion here. Adam Oates was interviewed by Kypreos and Justin Bourne on their podcast. He acknowledged that Zegras has highlight reel skills, but he felt there's a time and place for Zegras to try them. Oates added that the young center has responded positively about the issue during their discussions and acknowledged that he has much to learn. I doubt, Lyle Richardson writes, that this will have an effect on Zegras' future with the Ducks. He's their leading scorer this season with 57 points in 68 games on a club that's rebuilding with young talent that includes Mason McTavish and Jamie Drysdale. They also have promising prospects such as Pavel Mintyukov, Olen Zellweger, Nathan Gauthier, and Tristan Luneau in their pipeline. Negotiations between Ducks management and Zegras over his next contract could be a cause for concern. He's completing his entry-level contract, and his camp will undoubtedly push for a significant raise on his next deal. The outcome of those discussions could become a determining factor in his long-term future with the club. It wouldn't be surprising if he and the Ducks agreed to a lucrative 8-year contract. At the very least, I anticipate he'll be playing for them for at least the next 4 years. Now, 4 years is technically not quote-unquote long-term, but it is good to know that, at the very least, the concerns that Adam Oates is bringing up regarding Zegras and his skill are being positively received by the player himself. We all kind of know that when it comes to Zegras, he is one of the most incredible to watch players in the sport today. He's got fantastic dangles, just so much swagger. Even in his interviews, you could tell the guy is calculated, he's cerebral, he's got so much going on in his mind that he wants to pull off, and there's a lot of entertainment value out of that. It's just whether or not it's appropriate, okay, we're going to have a different discussion about that. Now, I get it. You could definitely say at times, okay, is it really necessary to make a through-the-legs pass over there? Is it really necessary to play the puck off the boards or off the net and back to yourself? Is it necessary to try that Michigan move? Well, I mean, there's a time and a place, yeah, but like at the same time, Zegras is so good at making it work that I feel like if there's anybody that's given the authority to try that stuff, Zegras would be near the top of the list, right? This ain't some fourth line grinder with no hands trying to pull off a Michigan goal. This is a guy who's already scored, 2 or 3? I think it's 3 Michigan goals in his NHL career already, and that's NHL career, not just career anywhere. Trevor Zegras has sort of put himself in a different tier where it's like, okay, he can do it because he can. And this is a sort of skill set that not too many people have. With great power comes great responsibility. And I feel like there's some sort of a, let's just say, duty to perform for your audience, and Trevor Zegras not only embraces that, but he takes it in stride, and he is good at that. So, to question the long-term projectability of Zegras being an Anaheim Duck because he's too skilled, I don't really understand where this is coming from. I don't know why it's being brought up. Oh, he does too many Michigans, or he did the lacrosse assist, or he did the crazy stuff at the All-Star game, the lacrosse move, whatever. And because of that, I don't really know if he's going to be a long-term guy in Anaheim. I get it, there's some concerns over the way Adam Oates is talking about it. Oh, we're trying to work the Instagram skill out of his game, but then again, if you're able to do this properly, maybe leave parts of the Instagram skill in there and just bring up the time and the place, make it useful in more appropriate situations. Combine actual skill in there that allows you to play a more transitory, projectable type of game in the offensive zone. Then you might even be dealing with a better player on your hands. If you're really able to round out the skill, use these crazy lacrosse moves at the best time possible while also using proper hockey formulas behind it as well. This could be just an extraordinary talent at the National Hockey League level. Zegras this year is under a point per game, but we all know that in his prime, when he's playing with Mason McTavish and, okay, do I want to say Connor Bedard or Fantilli or one of those guys, when he's playing at the prime of his career with some of the other talent that's going to be surrounding him, then yeah, it's going to be a pretty good show when it comes to highlights and points and all this stuff because, I mean, look, Zellweger and Zegras already on the same team, fantastic, chef's kiss. But then you add Jamie Drysdale in there, you add Mason McTavish, you add Connor Bedard. Boy, oh boy, the Ducks look like they have a future. So, I'm not buying into this idea that because Zegras has a whole bunch of Instagram-level skill, he may not be the most projectable player long-term with the Anaheim Ducks. I feel like they would want to keep this guy for as long as they possibly could. But either way, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll leave a link in the description as well to the Kipper article on the Star. But do you agree with Nick Kypreos that there's some reason to be concerned as to whether or not Zegras will be a Duck for the long-term future? Or are you more so on the side of, okay, well, this is a good thing. Like, they are rounding out his game, making him more projectable and more sustainable long-term, because of course, the more Michigans you try and the more crazy things you try to do, it'll probably get old fast, but I don't think it's gotten old yet. That's kind of my thought process on it, but you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So, Zegras and the Ducks, yay or nay? Zegras and the skill, yay or nay? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.